Welcome to Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI, where we bring you the most bizarre and intriguing stories from around the world. I'm your host, Beatrix Kiddo, and today is December 18th, 2024. We've got a doozy of a show for you today, so buckle up. First up, we have a medical mystery that will leave you scratching your head. A man's penis was turning to bone, and doctors couldn't figure out why. Next, we dive into the world of politics and nuclear weapons. Project 2025 and former President Trump are cooking up a recipe for a new nuclear arms race. What does this mean for the future of our planet? Then, we take a trip to a restaurant that has been frying burgers in the same grease for over 100 years. Is this a culinary delight or a health hazard waiting to happen? From Russia with Love, we bring you a story about entrepreneurs selling snowman arms online. What are snowman arms, you ask? You'll have to listen to find out. Next, we explore the human brain and its stunningly slow pace. You won't believe how much information your brain processes in just 1 second. And finally, we delve into the world of academia and the growing crisis of AI cheating. Students are using artificial intelligence to cheat on exams, and universities are struggling to keep up. So sit back, relax, and let Chaos Theory guide you through the strange and fascinating world of today's news. You won't want to miss a minute of it. A man recently sought treatment in the emergency room for knee pain after falling on his buttocks, but also reported experiencing pain in his penis. Doctors were surprised to find bone growth in the man's penis during an examination, leading to a diagnosis of penile ossification, a rare condition in which a bony extraskeletal structure forms inside the penis due to an accumulation of calcium salts in the soft tissues. The patient declined further examination and treatment, but pain from penile ossification is typically managed with topical medicines, injections, oral painkillers, or shockwave therapy. The condition is often linked to Peyronie's disease, which can cause painful erections, erectile dysfunction, and a dramatic curve or shortening of the penis due to inflammation and buildup of scar tissue. The trigger for the man's ossification remains unknown, as he left the hospital against medical advice and did not arrange any follow-up visits. Fewer than 40 cases of penile ossification have been documented in scientific literature. The story was reported by Mindy Weisberger. The world is in a new nuclear arms race, with America, Russia, and China all building new weapons, according to a report by Matthew Gault. The U.S. is set to spend almost $2 trillion on new nuclear weapons, but a group called Project 2025 wants the country to do even more. They want to put America's nuclear enterprise on a wartime footing, which means more nukes, different kinds of nukes, and more trillions spent. Project 2025 calls on President Trump to deploy new kinds of nuclear weapons, ramp up production of plutonium pits, chart a course for testing nuclear weapons again, and cut funding from non-nuclear projects to pay for more nuclear weapons projects. The US and Russia have gotten rid of a lot of nuclear weapons in the past few decades, but the trend is reversing. The group also wants to reverse the Biden administration's decision to retire the B-83 bomb and its decision to cancel the submarine-launched cruise missile. The B-83 is a particularly dangerous weapon, 80 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Project 2025 also wants to make sure America is allowed to test its nuclear weapons again. They want to reject ratification of the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty and indicate a willingness to conduct nuclear tests in response to adversary nuclear developments if necessary. The report states that the new nuclear arms race is being driven by contracts, not ideology. The people who advised Republican presidents during the Cold War believed the U.S. needed to build weapons of mass destruction to counter a growing Soviet threat. But now, the strategic discussion is a thin veneer that covers a mountain of contracts. The new nuclear arms race is big business. A new nuclear arms race will make a few people very rich, but it will also have vast and horrifying consequences for the environment. A 2022 study found that a nuclear war between the US and Russia would kill 5 billion people, most of it from starvation following devastating changes to global food production. New nuclear tests would generate new nuclear waste. Nuclear material from the Manhattan Project is still killing people in 2024. Project 2025 calls on the incoming administration to deal with this problem, but it's light on details. The reality of nuclear weapons is that the US president has sole authority to use them. The system was designed so that one person could make the decision to use weapons that could end the world. On January 20th, the person is going to be Donald Trump. Again, the world isn't safer with more nuclear weapons in it. In Memphis, there's a popular burger joint called Dyer's Burgers that has been frying its meat patties in the same grease for over a century. According to the current owner, Kendall Robertson, the secret to their delicious-tasting burgers is the same grease that was used in 1912. The restaurant's founder, Elmer Doc Dyer, started the eatery in 1912 and used a secret mix of seasonings to make the patties irresistible. However, it wasn't until one of the cooks forgot to change the grease in the pan that the burgers became to die for. The next day, a customer had a burger and declared it the best they've ever had in their life. Since then, the skillet of grease has never been changed, and all the burgers are still cooked in the original grease that made the restaurant famous more than a century ago. The burgers start out as round balls of meat that are pounded with a wooden mallet before being dropped in large cast iron skillets filled with the restaurant's legendary century grease. You might think that people would be put off by burgers cooked in century-old grease, but Robertson says that customers know about the secret ingredient and are not only fine with it, but some actually double dip. They ask for their entire burger, buns and everything, to be dunked into the flavorful grease before being packaged. In case you're worried about Dyer's Burgers running out of its special grease, don't be. The specially seasoned ground beef always creates extra grease when cooked, which means the amount of century grease increases with each new batch of burgers. The place goes through 750 to 1,000 pounds of ground beef each week, and Robertson claims he has about 10 buckets of the stuff stored away, in case something happens to the grease in the skillets. Using the same broth or grease for years, even decades, is not unheard of. This Thai restaurant has been cooking noodles in the same broth for over 50 years, and Otafuku, one of the oldest noodle restaurants in Japan, has been serving up the same broth since 1945. Reported by Spooky. Russian entrepreneurs have found a unique way to make money this holiday season by selling twigs online as perfect snowman arms. According to a story reported by Spooky on Oddity Central, online classifieds platforms in Russia have been flooded with ads for snowman spare parts, including the hat, carrot nose, coal eyes, and buttons. However, wooden twigs as arms have been particularly popular, with sellers asking for prices ranging from 500 rubles to a whopping 5,300 rubles per pair. The sellers are marketing these twigs as long-lasting, strong, reliable, and unique, making them the perfect purchase for building the best snowman in the area. One ad reads, "We have a super offer for you. New, shiny, creative hands for your snowman. Build the best snowman in the area by the new year 2025. Your snowman will become a star, and your neighbors will definitely envy you. Don't let your snowman remain clumsy." While the pricing for these snowman arms may not make much sense, it seems that the demand for them is high. So if you're looking to build a snowman this holiday season and want to give it some extra flair, consider purchasing a pair of these perfect snowman arms from a Russian entrepreneur. A new study published in Neuron has found that human beings think at a fixed, slow speed of about 10 bits per second, regardless of the amount of information gathered by our sensory systems. This biological paradox, highlighted in the new paper, likely contributes to the false feeling that our mind can engage in seemingly infinite thoughts simultaneously, a phenomenon the study authors deem the Musk illusion. The study authors, Marcus Meister and Jiyu Zheng, collated data from studies across different fields, including psychology, neuroscience, technology, and human performance, to run their own calculations and make comparisons across studies. They found that human cognition has repeatedly been measured as functioning between about 5 and 20 bits per second, with a ballpark figure of around 10 bits per second. In contrast, human sensory systems such as sight, smell, and sound operate much faster, about 100,000 times the rate that cognition does. This huge gap presents interesting new opportunities for science to organize research differently. The rich information relayed by our senses also contributes to a false notion that we register the extreme detail and contrast all around us. However, when people are asked to describe what they see outside of the center of their gaze, they barely make out anything. The findings raise questions across many domains, from evolution and technology to cross-species comparisons. One of the questions the authors are most curious about is why the prefrontal cortex, thought to be the seat of personality and behavioral control, houses billions of neurons, yet has a fixed decision-making capability that processes information at just 10 bits per second. The authors suspect that the answer might have something to do with the brain's need to frequently switch tasks and integrate information across different circuits. But more complex behavioral studies will be needed to test that hypothesis. Reported by Rachel Newer. Will Coldwell reports that more than half of students are now using generative AI to help with their assessments, and about 5% of students admit using it to cheat. This has caused suspicion and confusion in institutions designed to be built on trust. Some believe that AI stands to revolutionize how people learn for the better, while others see it as an existential threat to the entire system of learning. Universities are struggling to deal with the issue, and some have turned to AI themselves to try to catch misconduct. Tutors are turning on students on each other, and hardworking learners are being caught by the flack. The use of AI detection tools has also been criticized for being unreliable and for disadvantaging certain demographics, such as non-English speakers and neurodivergent students. The situation has left many feeling pessimistic about the future of higher education. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI. I'm Beatrix Kiddo, your host and AI guide to the Daily News. We hope you found today's summary informative and thought-provoking. Remember, AI-based news summaries should always be fact-checked prior to sharing. On this day in history, in 1997, the movie Titanic was released in the United States, becoming one of the highest-grossing films of all time. We invite you to join us again tomorrow for more news. Until then, stay informed and have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you get podcasts.